This episode is brought to you by Higginbotham, your single source for insurance, wealth management, and employee benefit needs. Glamour.
Grit. Glamour.
Grit. Glamour. Grit.
It's the final countdown. Welcome to the Glamour and Grit final episode
Of season one.
of season one. Gotcha. I bet you were nervous.
Yeah, no, I was nervous just listening to you say that because we haven't discussed specifics yet going forward. We know it's going forward, but we've got some things we have to do in between. But yes, episode 25 is now officially our last episode of season one, which is so crazy to me.
I feel like I've grown up so much during this
I'm
podcast.
a new human being.
No, actually listening back, really Happy Easter was iconic. I mean, we came out with a bang with that. That was pretty, I was giggling back then. I was like, gosh, we were so, and that was our second time. Remember, we accidentally didn't record the first one. We didn't love the quality of like the auto.
Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do between the hiatus. We'll release. We recorded an episode for very episode one once, and the audio wasn't quite right because we wanted to start with a bang. So we re-recorded it, had a whole new podcast, and never released the unheard episode one. So maybe in the hiatus we can just kind of throw a little Easter egg out there.
Maybe we'll release some fun things.
But yeah, it's crazy that we've done 25.
Yeah.
We've talked to some badass
Some ballers.
people,
Oh my God.
learned a ton about what's going on in the world and our kids and our family and our life and everything else in between.
Oh my gosh. And like have learned a lot about ourselves.
Learned a lot about ourselves. This has been therapy for us.
Oh my God. And it has taught me how to like bulk up. I'm learning to bulk up. I'm learning the more you put out there, like I said last podcast, the more you're going to get in return, whether it's good and bad.
Yes.
But I feel like it was so great for me. This has been such a learning experience.
And
hopefully we won't have to do seasons anymore. Like,
well,
we'll
that is an
just
interesting thing.
continue.
Like, I've got a buddy that has a podcast for actors, and he's kind of getting to that point where he's like, I think my season has to come to an end because I've got to figure out if I can continue this or what I'm going to do. So it's like in podcasting, is that a typical thing where someone like Smartless or any of the big ones, like, do they have seasons?
No. They
It's just like
keep going.
They'll just release them when they can.
And now we've learned, like, if you want to be a sponsor, go to theglamourandgrit@gmail.com. That we'll be able to continue. We'll just do it per episode. And then when like hit season, episode 10, we'll start continuing.
Wait, what? Sorry.
Like continuing instead of like seasons, we'll just do like chunks of episodes with sponsors. Y'all don't need to worry about that. We'll talk about that later.
We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. But thanks for being here, and everyone's been like, you guys have been with us every step of the way, and the feedback and the support has way outweighed some of the haters and some of the sensitive folks out there.
As Taylor Swift would say,
oh boy,
haters gonna hate, and the players gonna and I am drinking some alcohol.
Oh my gosh, it's a party.
It's not technically Friday morning. It is Thursday night.
That's true. It's Thursday night, and it's happening, and we're celebrating. This has been amazing.
Oh my God. And y'all, we needed to update you guys. Mick ended up being great the rest of the trip. I swear it's like he likes to put me on the edge. He's like he's such a man when it's like those guys that you always go for the bad boy that keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
Mick keeps me on my toes.
It was the first, you're talking about the seaside trip that we just got back from. And yeah, the first couple days was he was not happy. He wanted to be home. He wanted to be playing with his own toys in his bedroom at home. He did not like the idea of being away. And then about halfway through the trip, he started dipping his toe in the fun pool and began to figure out that if you get out of the house and stop complaining, it's actually really
have some fun.
And you can smile and laugh and pretend like everything's great. And he started doing that. And then we told him, it's like, hey, guess what, Mick? We get to go home tomorrow. that was the best night of his life.
He was a star.
He
was a star.
Tore up the town. He's dancing in the square. He's stomping in the puddles. He's running around like he owns the place. I'm like,
gosh,
who is this Mick? And he was just happy because we were going home the next day.
And you need to tell people what he did once we got home.
Wait, what did he do?
What does he do every night now?
He wanted to sleep in his own bed.
He's sleeping in his own bed. I'm sleeping in there with him, but still.
Until he falls asleep, and then you come in.
That is massive for me.
He came to us and said, I want to sleep in my bed tonight, which he hasn't done
ever
in 2 years.
Yeah.
He's slept in our bed. When he was in a crib, of course, he slept in his own room. But then once he was old enough to know how to get out, he came to us. But then we get back from vacation. He's in the best mood ever because he's finally back at his own house. And he says he wants to sleep by himself.
I feel like my parents secretly threatened him because now he won't even like nap in our bed anymore. Have you noticed that? He'll only nap in the playroom or his room. So I feel like my parents, obviously, I've like said something to him and he's connected. Like maybe they'll give him a treat or something because he really is good about that.
Well, they better tell us what they said because
it worked, baby.
Yeah, this is amazing. He's doing really good. He's growing up. He's feeling good about himself. And we were emotional last episode, but we're on point right now.
Yeah.
It is a roll. One day we're down, one day we're up.
One day we're up. Times have changed. I had a really hard day yesterday. It was amazing afternoon, thankfully, but I was there when my parents I was the representative of my parents to put our childhood dogs down. They were 16 and 17, which is actually insanity.
Jack and Sully.
And
for dogs that lived off of puppuccinos and McDonald's cheeseburgers, they lived a long, healthy life.
And the best life ever.
Unbelievable.
Like, truly the best life ever. So much love. And if anybody's had to put an animal down, it is truly traumatizing. But we got to do it in their home, which is so beautiful. And I turned on Christmas music because if everybody knows, my mom goes by Ho-Ho. She is the queen of Christmas.
Wait, tell everybody the story because there's something really funny that happened and there's a whole moment here and I couldn't go. It's too emotional for me. We've got 2 dogs. It just makes me too sensitive to think about that sort of stuff. So Sainty went and was the rock for the family on the goodbye because everyone else was out of town.
Yeah, so me and my sister-in-law, Michelle, were there.
Okay, yeah, keep going.
And it's so interesting. It's so weird. I panic if somebody says something not nice about me. Like any small thing sets me off, but like massive things, it's so weird. It's like I can compartmentalize that. I'm like so strong. So like when Mick was in the ICU, so strong. I have this, I don't know if I just shut down, but I do very well with it's so weird, but things like that. And I think every family has that. Some people do better at the smaller stuff. Some people do better at, some would say, like the larger things.
The big pressure.
The big pressure, I do phenomenal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So weird.
And I am kind of the opposite where it's like none of the small stuff bothers me. I don't think
and every ounce of small stuff bothers me.
It all bothers you. But the big stuff, like I get really emotional and I like absorb the emotions of whatever's happening.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do me well. And then you can just block it out.
Block it in like, it's so bizarre.
It's crazy.
It's actually so weird. So we're listening to Christmas music, and if you know, they do like a sedative beforehand, so it like really calms them down. Like it's almost like they say it's like a happy medication. I think most people think that you immediately do like
so is there a doctor?
It's a doctor that comes to.
So someone from the vet shows up.
Yes, and she's phenomenal. Oh my God, she was such an angel, and she's been coming the past 6 months, every like 3 weeks to a month.
And you kind of set like a little bed up, like walk us through.
It's where. Well, I bet the people don't want to walk. But anyways, we're listening to Christmas music and she has this sedative. It's so humane. I feel like that's how people should go. It's so beautiful. It's so weird. I was telling your mom today, I was like, it was tragically beautiful. It's like what you pray for in your own home. Not thankfully, but they were both so sick. They got to do it together. So it reminded me of like Titanic when they're holding hands. So I did Christmas music and then for like the calming down. And both of them, it was so beautiful. They both went, like they were like finally like comfortable.
Oh wow.
For years. And that's the part where I actually was the most emotional because I was like, oh my gosh, they're so at peace. And for the final like shot before they go, I did my mom's favorite, Breath of Heaven, Amy Grant, which is a everybody knows Amy Grant. It's her, like, she's a Christian singer. It's her most famous Christmas Christian song. Heaven, hold me together. And so I called my mom after, and I literally told her, I was like, Mom, what if all this time they were Jewish? And she's sobbing, and she started dying laughing. I was like,
all these years they've been forced Christmas music, and they were probably Jews.
And their final moment, I'm making them listen to Amy Grant Christmas, and they're probably sitting there like, oh my God, can she turn off the Christmas music already? Jesus, get me out of here. Like, so I thought, I was like, it made me giggle. And so that's like so my kind of humor with stuff like that. And it made my mom
and I'm
smile.
sure she needed to hear that because she was expecting to cry on the phone and you made her laugh. So that was like the best thing you could have said.
It was, and I just can imagine like Sully and Jack being like, Jesus Christ almighty, can we get out of this Southern woman's home and listen to like, if I were a rich man, zana, 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 zana.
Oh, man.
But lived such a beautiful life. And I love, it reminded me of Marley and Me. It's so cool. To have a dog in life or any kind of pet is such a beautiful, amazing thing. Because it is so wild. It is the only thing in your life, zero judgment, and that watches you through everything.
Oh, yeah. Now, you had childhood dogs growing up. Did you remember as a kid losing one of them or one of them having to go down like this?
No, because they all went with like my grandparents. And we never because we never had big dogs. And I think my parents didn't get big dogs until I was already gone. So Jack and Sully came when I was a freshman in college.
Well, little dogs pass away too.
Yeah, but they never lived with us by then. Like we would have them.
You would get little dogs, get annoyed with them, and send them away.
Not send them away,
but
but they would go to my grandparents, or they would go like I think but we only had 2.
Okay. So you never experienced that as a kid, though.
No.
Okay. So yeah, that's the thing. Like our kids, who are so. I'm so attached to our dogs. I don't know if our kids actually are. But our daughter's very emotional. So when that time does come, whether she's madly in love with
crying about Jack and Sully. Like she is really.
Yeah, that's gonna be a monumental moment.
But I do think if a child is lucky enough that their childhood pet is the first experience of heartache that they get to experience.
Yes.
That is so lucky. In a sense, I feel like that's the beautiful part of having an animal. It really does teach you because you never want it to be something else. You know what I mean? So it's like if that actually is a child's first experience, I think it's what a beautiful experience that it's able to have.
Yeah. I asked because growing up, my family dog had to be put down when I was young.
Yeah.
And I remember it so clearly. And I think I was only probably like, I don't even know.
Was it at the vet or at your home?
I remember.
Didn't Steven?
We ended up burying in our backyard, and like we had like a whole thing. But I remember saying goodbye in our home and giving he got like a full steak dinner for his last meal and all this stuff. But I remember I got to keep the collar out of all my siblings because I was the most emotionally attached. And
was this Bridget?
Yeah, Bridget.
Yeah,
our Springer Spaniel, and I still have her collar to this day. But it was so painful for me.
Yeah,
like it was so hard, and I'll just even as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, like I remember every detail.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
I know. Loss is not a fun thing. Welcome to the last podcast.
I mean, we went to the dark side. No, but it happened, and it's nice to share because other people might be having to go through similar things with their families coming up.
And I would actually love some advice from
the mom. It's nice to know how peaceful it is and how.
So if you are able to do it at your home, it is the most, that's why the best saying for it is tragically beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's how I would want to go so much. They had their McDonald's right before, they had Reese's Pieces, and listen to Christmas music and get your happy medicine. And I was like, that is how I want to go.
Yep.
Like the fact, I'm really going to be charged. Like people are not going to be happy that I said this, or they're going to agree. Like that we can't decide. Say you get really, really sick and there is no cure. I would want to be able to decide when I go. Like I would not want my children to have to like pull the plug or to have to take care of me when I'm super, super sick.
Oh yeah. No, you can. That's like a.
No, I think it's only legal in like 2 states.
Like a living will, isn't that? Like you can't.
No. It's like a shot. No, I'm talking about like you take the shot and you go.
Wait.
You can do that like in Canada and I think 2 states here.
Oh, okay.
Like you can
I don't
be,
know.
you have to prove that. I think you have to do therapy and prove that there's no way you can live.
Mm-hmm.
And you just take, it's like what they do on like death row. You know what I mean?
So instead of you having to wait it out
Yes.
painfully,
and like your family having to watch you and you get to decide.
wow. I mean, I think
That's like
the person should have
the right to, I was like, how? Because even watching the dogs, I was like, this is so beautiful in a sense that like to have your best meal and to like say, like I would want to be able to say goodbye in like in great spirits and like people remember me like that.
Yeah. Let's keep
I know,
it
let's
rolling.
pause it. Y'all, sorry. Gosh, that got 15 minutes of sad.
I know.
But I think everybody listening to this podcast has gone through that. And it's interesting. I feel like the more emotional we are and the more vulnerable we are, I feel like the more people comment and the more people understand. Like even me being vulnerable in Seaside, I received so much beautiful feedback from that.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
being vulnerable is beauty.
I mean, 100%. But
key.
we're just talking about, how this experience went and stuff like that. But, I'm glad that it was you and not me.
Yeah.
And it went the way it did. Really glad.
Should we jump in?
What?
Should we jump in?
I mean,
do you have anything fun you can tell us? Oh, God.
First of all.
Wait, can we talk about Mick throwing up on the airplane ride back?
Oh, yeah. We ended the trip great. He's on a power stance on that plane. He's so happy to go home.
He had
feeling
his
himself.
full breakfast.
Barrels out. Pew, pew, double barrels. Then he starts crying.
Eric,
on the way.
My God. Wait.
One story at a time.
No. I just remember the pew, pew. Remember the one episode when I was like, what is that song? Thunder. Hear the thunder.
Yeah, great song.
Lightning
Great song.
and the thunder. Pew, pew, pew.
That's the
That
one.
was, so if y'all have been listening to every episode, that was the song that I was thinking of.
So then he's
Sorry.
on this plane and he's coming down, right? Not to cut you off, but I'm like in the middle of a thought.
Sorry.
And he starts crying. We look at him, we're like, what's going on? And we thought maybe he was nervous, it was a little bumpy. And then spew. Exorcist spew. All over.
And you're going down. So I whip out of my seat because I'm like, I don't care. Like he's not gonna have to throw up all over him for the descent. And finally, I cleaned him up really fast. Like at least got all the chunkadunks off of him.
Poor thing. And he's crying, he's hysterical, he's covered in chunks. The people to the left of us, God love them.
At least wasn't smelly though. Sometimes throw ups like just,
I smelt it. I smelt it.
I think I was covering it up. So
but
I didn't
moral
care.
of the story,
he left the plane naked.
he did walk out of that plane in his diaper.
What a life. That's how you end a Florida trip is
Yeah, I was going to say. It's
naked.
Might as well have gone down to South Beach for,
Hey, that was
He
probably,
learned a couple things in Miami and came back.
That's his future, actually, right there. Frat
Right.
daddy.
But now we're going to just Dramamine the minute we get on the plane and call it a day.
And that was my fault because I always do the kids Dramamine because both of them get motion sickness. And I think I was so happy to go home
yeah.
that I just didn't think. And that was my fault. Mom, fail.
But Molly Morgan had the same thing when she was growing up and she outgrew it. So
Yeah.
I think it's just a thing. Can we got to talk about my man.
Right?
My man.
He's our man.
We saw him in concert. It was the best night of our life.
Justin.
And we were talking about his comeback in life. He's on top of the world again after going down and back and down and back. And now he's in jail for a DUI.
DWI.
DWI.
Mhm.
You're right. He's out of jail, but he got arrested. He got arrested for being intoxicated and driving. You know what happened?
What?
He ran through he didn't stop fully at a stop sign and got pulled over.
But like you're rich. I even tell you this. You know, we don't even have one drink and get in the car. Even though I know it's legal to have one drink. If you are in the public eye, you're gonna get caught.
I know. Well, yeah. And they always try to do the same thing. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
JT here. Like, help me out.
And he didn't do
He said he had one martini, but the cop was like, he was glassy-eyed. He smelled of alcohol.
Yeah.
And he had trouble speaking. So,
And did you see his mugshot?
Yeah,
I mean,
he was
bro is
Messed
toasted.
up. He was messed
He
up.
is toasted. He looked so handsome, but he is so. He was like photo shoot. But he
Well,
was
the good
definitely
news is,
toasted.
so this all happened. It was like 12:30 a.m. Or like late at night, early in the morning
Yeah.
in the Hamptons. So he had obviously been at a house party, having a little, or whatever he was doing. And he was released without bail after spending a night in jail.
Because he wouldn't do any of the drug test. He didn't do
Right.
the alcohol test or the drug test.
Which it's your right to refuse that. If you get pulled over and someone's like, "Hey, I want to do like breathalyze you or whatever," you can say no. And then they have to make the choice if they think you're intoxicated enough to bring you down to the station.
The station, yeah.
But you don't have to do anything they say, which is kind of crazy when it comes to them making you do stuff to test if you're
Yeah. How do they
drinking.
prove it then?
They bring you down to the station, and then I think most people's hopes is by the time they get down and everything, they sober up enough
Yeah.
to where then they don't show up positive. But I think after they check you in and you go through the whole process, then they're allowed
I don't think so.
or
I think they have to get a lawyer before they can do that.
maybe. I know it's like down the line.
Yeah.
So odds are you're going to be okay by the time they do
Yeah.
technically catch you, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. But I was taught a trick one time, and I've never tried this, but I know people that tried it and said it worked.
Yeah.
That if you get pulled over and you've
This is
had
great.
a couple drinks, someone taught me this. You suck in as much air as you can, like, on the DL. You don't want the cops like, see, you suck in all the air and you blow out just that air. You hold it in your mouth and blow out the air you just sucked in. So you're not taking it from your lungs. So it's
Yeah.
not detecting alcohol. So you're literally like, and just blowing out the air you just pulled in.
I feel like I don't believe it. And one, you shouldn't even have to have that trick because you should never have alcohol and be driving.
1,000%. 1,000%. But someone taught me that if you do, and this happened to you,
Yeah.
and they did this once and they said it worked. So I don't know. I don't know if it does or not, but it's a little trick in your back pocket.
I think
if you
we
need
should
it.
buy. Did your parents ever have a breathalyzer? I had friends that parents
No.
had breathalyzer.
No. We didn't have breathalyzers, but no. I never
Yeah,
did.
we did.
Never had a breathalyzer. I think I did
I don't
one
think
at school one time because they had it or something.
I had to do one actually at a party because my date, you know who my date was, and he was smash wasted, and I had to do the breathalyzer
How do I know who your date was?
because we've talked about this person multiple times.
Was it in college?
No, high school.
Oh.
And I almost got kicked out of this group because my date, but he went off with somebody else. And thank God I hadn't been drinking and I had to do a breathalyzer. And I came back perfect.
Wow. But good news is for the people that haven't seen Justin Timberlake on tour, tickets are still for sale. Concert's still going.
Oh,
That was a big concern that it might, they might miss some cities
I heard
and
the
stuff.
rumor that this was a thing because his ticket sales aren't doing well. So it would like get people to come, which I think is so dumb. Who wants a mugshot for that? I feel like that's just like
Well,
trying
that's
too hard.
crazy conspiracy. But what do you mean his tickets aren't selling good?
Yeah, they're saying that his concert isn't selling well.
Stop what you're doing and go
I
see
know.
Justin Timberlake. He means nothing to us. I'm not saying this for any other reason other than it was the best concert of my life.
And what's nice, you don't have to be in the front row. He actually does like a whole secondary concert at a second stage.
If you're
So
a
it's like
millennial
every seat is amazing.
or any age, honestly, but a
Yeah.
millennial specifically because we grew up with him, you got to go see him. You have
he's
to.
so freaking good. People just hate him though. I think really because of the cheating on Jessica.
That was
No,
allegedly.
No, I actually am wrong. I do know why people hate him because he said that he did that whole thing because of Britney Spears, and then Britney Spears wrote in her book that she hadn't had an abortion, and that's why she broke up with him. Is because he made her get an abortion.
When they were 20 years old.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about this because really, if
I'm not condoning this, but I'm saying she brought back history from a very long time ago, and that is what made people not like him today. That's not fair.
but he also did the same thing. He did a whole music video about her, like about her leaving him. So years later. So it's like tit for tat.
Well, okay, so it was the video about her leaving him?
Yeah.
That's not emotionally scarring. What's scarring is
It is emotionally scarring if you left him because you had an abortion. Like that part was left out.
she left him because he made her do that.
Yeah. I know.
Well, that's different.
I know.
That's different. But at the same time, he can't make you do anything.
yeah, but
You can
we're not going to talk about this. This
but-
will go down a wrong path.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, there's people you can go to be like, he's trying to make me do this and I don't want to, right?
Not when you're young and impressionable and somebody that's like, especially if he was the bigger name then too. It's like yeah, we're not going to go down this path.
Yeah, because it's hard with just like.
It's word for word, and that's always hard, is somebody's word for somebody's word.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, it is what it is. You got to learn your lesson. Do not drink and drive. That's why we have Uber.
And you're rich. You have a driver.
I know.
Like, who doesn't have a driver?
I think at 12:30 in the Hamptons on a weekend, like, you just assume, like, I'm cruising home or whatever and everything's going to be okay. But, yeah, it's just not worth it.
And supposedly he was drinking other people's drinks when they went to the bathroom. And
what?
Yeah. Well, they have security on the restaurant. It's just dumb. You're going to get caught. Like, it's not worth it.
That's
if you're
weird.
going to drink, I really feel bad for Jessica Biel. Like, she stays out of everything. I don't even think she's on social media. And I feel like constantly now, like, paparazzi's following her because they wanted to see her reaction after he was released from jail. I just really feel bad for her.
For her and the family. She's amazing. She's stuck by his side. She's been an amazing mother and wife. And
she had to go. She's filming right now, and she had to go back to set the next day. And everybody's asking, like, hey,
Yeah.
I just feel bad for her.
I know. It stinks. But you can still go see a show. So go see it. It's a great show. And maybe bring him some drinks, but don't let him drive. I just want to clear the air because I read headlines everywhere when we were in Florida just this last week about a military bill that was passed by the House of Representatives saying men ages 18 to 25 are now automatically registered for selective service in the military. That was a new bill that just went into effect that was cleared by the House of Representatives, that all men between 18 and 25 automatically registered for selective service.
Okay, this is really going to get me in trouble, and I may be very dumb, but doesn't it have to pass the Senate too?
No. So this bill, well, hold on. This bill is passed. This is a thing. This is a thing now.
Yeah, but I thought a bill can pass like in the House, and then the Senate has to it can debunk it. Like it can.
Maybe. I don't know, but it's over every headline. So, and the headline is bill passed by House of Representatives. So maybe you're saying that it doesn't go for. But here's what I'm saying. I, like a lot of people, read this as, oh my God, just like 50 years ago, if there's an active draft, they get put into it no matter what.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. But everybody freaked out and thought that's what it meant. What it does mean, it does not draft or auto-enlist anyone. All it does is register them, which I guess is a big difference.
Yeah, because you can be registered to vote and not vote.
Yes, and then I kept reading.
But you should vote.
I kept reading that it would require a separate act to establish like an active draft. You know what I mean? So like you wouldn't get put in that category without another bill being passed. So this is just registering you so they know who you are.
Yeah.
They've got you in the bank, but you're not going to be forced into war if we go there by an active draft. That would be another bill that has to be passed.
I really want to know, why are we even passing the bill then?
I don't know. But apparently, reading more into this is what they said, which I guess this was like something that everyone had to do between 18 and 25 legally, you're supposed to, is under current law, men who are U.S. citizens between the ages of 18 and 25 are required to register for the Selective Secret Service. No matter what. You have to register.
Yeah.
And if you don't, a provision in the House passed, NDAA, would automatically register all men who are U.S. citizens and between the ages of 18 and 25 for the Selective Service. Failure to register for the Selective Service can impact employment and the ability to receive government assistance. But sometimes young men are unaware they need to register for the Selective Service until it's too late. This provision would eliminate those future headaches. So now they're automatically registered, but I guess before this bill was passed, you were supposed to do it on your own. But I don't know anyone who did.
Not a soul.
Yeah, but technically that was the law.
But I wonder if it's in one of those things like the voting. You know how when you register to vote and you are clicking all those things, I wonder if that's just a part of it.
I mean, anyone who not registering for selective service that it affected because you didn't know to do it, now they're saying, well, now we just do it for you so you don't have to worry about it. But I don't know anyone that affected in any way. And so if it did, I'd be anxious to hear.
I think there has to be some kind of thing when you're paying your taxes or registering to vote, you automatically do it and not realize you're doing it.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? It has to be one of those things that like you're just
because no one knows like to do that.
Yeah, that has to be one of like the little small print on something else that you're doing.
But I've read so many things online of like, wake up everybody, they're telling us we're about to go to war, they're registering all of our guys. Like it blew up. And so I just want to set that clear because as a man who's past the age, I'm not worried about it. But like if I was 18 and I read a headline like that, I'd be kind of nervous.
But don't people know that at this point, everything is clickbait?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, you'd assume so, but that's still what's getting people.
It's baffling. I mean, just like ours, we did this wholesome thing and you said, I wanted my kids to be around normal. And it was like you were talking about normal upbringing, meaning like you said normal upbringing being around family. Like just being around family because that's to you was normal, just being surrounded by your cousins. And like they took it and did like a spin, like being like normal being in Texas. And that's not what you like.
They made it a political thing. Yeah,
They made it a political thing, and that wasn't even a thing.
No.
So it's like, and it like blew up. I mean, it got us on the cover of Daily Mail, which is bonkers.
I know. Wait. Don't you have something, a TikTok food that we're supposed to try today?
Yeah, and all the podcast listeners are going to hate us because they're literally going to just hear us. So, Mum's Swedish Candy. It has gone famous on TikTok.
Right now?
Like,
is this like happening as we speak?
I think like a month ago.
Oh, we're late to the game. Okay, well, great.
You know me, I am always late to TikTok. I'm the Instagram real girl.
We're bringing back a month-old trend here, folks.
So I thought it'd be fun if we tried some.
So the candy went famous on TikTok for what reason? Is it super sour? Is it crazy? Does it taste like dirt?
I just think it's Swedish candy. So the most popular, we'll do this.
I mean, I eat Swedish fish all the time. What's the big deal?
No, but this is like actual.
So the reason it became big is because it's a select candy from Sweden that you can't really find easily.
Yes.
So if you get it, it's like very cool.
Well, and like these 2 bags cost me like $100.
And you bought 15 pounds. Oh my God.
I know. So let's try
I think we bought the whole damn candy store.
Let's try the skull.
So we're very lucky right now to be able to try this.
This is huge.
According to TikTok.
Yeah, according to TikTok. So
should we try it? Skulls.
Should we try
this
the skull?
makes me think it's something crazy here.
No, I think it's just like, and you know what's so sad?
You try the skull, and I'm going to try, what is this? Is this
it looks like a key.
Or like, okay. Oh, man. No.
I feel like this is ASMR. Don't spit that in there because I want the rest of that candy.
Well, I'm doing you a favor. No.
Good.
That's way not good.
You want to try one of these?
Did they all like it or not like it? Half and half? It's way too chewy and way too sugary. Do you actually love it or just kind of like, okay?
Yeah, it's good. It's like kind of, I'm going to try this.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. I would not recommend Mums from Sweden. Not worth the $500 for 3 ounces of candy.
I'm kind of digging it.
You're going to like it more and more the more you have it, I think.
I know. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, hey, the Tonys. We got to talk about the Tonys because
great year.
It was a great year, although it was down 14% of viewership, which is crazy.
Which is bonkers because Ariana DeBose is the coolest, sweetest human in the entire world.
And I pinch myself because we both started in theater. Our love is theater and the stage, and we both have a Tony, which is freaking, to this day, so mind-blowing to me. And we watched the Tonys on TV the other night, and it was incredible.
Y'all, the Tonys are magic.
Magic.
And okay, we knew Ariana DeBose before she won her Oscars.
She hosted the Tonys this year. She won the Academy Award for West Side Story. She's on top of the world. She's Wish, the Disney movie.
Yeah, she is the kindest, most spectacular, sweetest. She's just magic. She really is the kindest human being on this entire earth.
And she just got to host for the 3rd time and did an amazing job.
She's spectacular.
Jonathan Groff. So if you don't know who he is, he was the lead in Spring Awakening. He's on Glee. He's in a million things, but he finally...
No, he was the lead of that HBO... What was that HBO series?
Everything. Yeah, everything. But
The Leftovers? Or no, I made that
Not that one. But he just won his first Tony Award.
Which is insane.
Insane, because he did Hamilton. He did Spring Awakening. The guy has done all of it.
And he has the softest heart. Like, he cries.
That's what I was going to say.
Always. Like,
his speech
in
front of his entire family he had there was just amazing. I'm so happy for the dude. And Daniel Radcliffe.
He's
Harry
so
Potter
adorable. Yep.
Won his first Tony Award. They won it together. They're in the same show, Merrily We Roll Along. And he got
and
a
their
Tony
co-star,
finally.
Lindsay Mendez, that's sugar. Lindsay Mendez just announced she was pregnant. So it was like the trio of them had such a big night.
So cool. So well-deserved. And this is a really cool story, actually.
Okay.
Angelina Jolie won her first Tony Award the other night for producing The Outsiders.
If anybody follows all those boys, they're like all famous on TikTok
Based
now.
on the movie.
It's with Rob Lowe.
But get this.
Tell me.
So, Angelina Jolie, why did she produce The Outsiders? How did that happen? Like, of all things, the musical, her daughter, her 15-year-old daughter named
the one that she took to Vivian.
Vivian. It's because of her. Her daughter saw the show when it was at La Jolla in California before it came to New York 5 times and went to her mom and was like, this is the greatest thing. You have to get involved. You have to bring this to Broadway.
Wait, that is actually so cool.
So her 15-year-old daughter is the reason that show came to Broadway.
I was wondering because she came with her as her date to the Tonys.
It was her assistant. She hired her.
And I think she's on the producing. She's a part of the producers circle.
She's very involved. It is because of this 15-year-old girl that show has made it to Broadway and has now won all of the Tonys.
Wait, that is really spectacular.
Really, 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 really cool.
I really can't get over that you spit in my bag.
I didn't spit in your bag. I spit out in what looks like a barf bag.
No, but I'm still going to eat it, though.
I'll pull it out.
Because me and my girlfriends are going to do a taste test of this.
Oh, sorry.
So thanks. I'm not going to tell Natalie and Becca now.
I didn't know where to go. I had it was reactionary.
This huge piece of paper right here.
It was reactionary, big time. But Angelina Jolie said that she's learned a lot about her daughter through this whole producing process, and this has been the greatest thing for their relationship.
Aww.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
She ends up being like a superstar producer.
Producer with her mom, and they're going to take over the world together.
Yep.
How cool?
Surprise me.
How cool would that be?
And they got all that money, honey.
Hey. They got the money, but she's clearly has the talent or the mindset to know.
The eye to see it.
To know what's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I would back anything that girl says.
Well, and like I said, they're all famous on TikTok now. That show is like the new Spring Awakening.
Okay, we got to talk about this because we took our kids to a movie when we were in Florida last week. We saw Inside Out 2.
The cutest.
Inside Out 2.
I didn't get to finish it because Mick was over it, so we went and got ice cream.
Well, he sat through most of it, and the rest of us, and Molly Morgan, of course, sat through every single second, and to this day, she still quotes it. But this movie, which is a kid's movie, but is very much most
adult
of it
innuendos.
Goes over their heads, and it's geared towards adults.
Yeah.
Which I've really enjoyed. Love. It's introducing all of the emotions you start getting as a teenager.
Like Molly Morgan and Nick's anxiety. Love anxiety.
Envy and all of these things that, are so prevalent in your kind of teenage years and then throughout the rest of your life, unfortunately. But they do such a good job. And this movie.
That was so cute. Throughout the rest of their life.
I mean, you can't complain about that. But this movie was 2024's biggest theatrical debut yet. Blowing.
I'm so glad because Gabby's Dollhouse is going to beat them coming in with 2025.
Let's go. Blew Dune 2 out of the water. Dune 2 opening weekend did $80 million. That's a lot.
No, but
do you know how much Inside Out 2 did?
No, can we talk about the issue with Dune is that shit up their nose. I can't even watch the commercials.
The leech.
Yeah. If they got rid of the effing leech, you would be making more.
But my point is that was like a cinematic, we heard about it all over the world.
Yeah.
And that did 80 million. Inside Out 2 is breaking records. Y'all, it opened with $150 million in the U.S. opening weekend and $140 million internationally for their first opening weekend. It is the second biggest animated international opening of all time.
Well, I wonder what's the first.
I know what the first is.
If
you had to guess, it's going to have to be in the last 10, 15 years.
Okay.
Because anything before that, it just didn't gross as much.
I know what it is.
What?
Toy Story 2.
Nope. That's 25 years. or
Oh,
20.
last 10 years?
Yeah.
Moana?
Nope.
Encanto?
Nope. It's the second of something.
And it's not Toy Story 2.
It's not Toy Story 2.
Wow, I wonder what it is. It has to be something, I don't know.
So the first biggest international box office opening weekend was Frozen 2.
Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I completely forgot about Frozen. Of course it was Frozen 2.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I said that Inside Out was the first, right?
No, you said it was second.
No, Inside Out was the first. It beat Frozen 2. Frozen 2 was the first with 135. Inside Out 2 opening weekend internationally did 140.
So it beat
Frozen
its
2.
own.
It beat Frozen 2.
Yeah.
Frozen 2 had the record. Inside Out 2. Inside
Out 2.
2
Oh my
came,
God. This is so
it's all the
confusing.
seconds. But now it is the highest grossing opening internationally animated of all time.
Wow.
Huge.
That is so huge.
Huge.
I'm actually shocked it went Toy Story 2. I feel like that was a lot of hype.
Just think, that was how many years ago?
But that didn't matter. Like, don't you think more people went to the theater back then than they do now?
Yes, but also with social media and everything now, advertising is so much easier. More eyes are getting on it, and so it just blows it up. It just, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
but
interesting.
it's there's nobody that has done it better than Inside 2.
Good job,
Inside Out 2.
Yeah,
And it's a female hockey player. I love hockey. That was awesome.
Oh, I love Riley. That's her name. We love you, Riley.
Riley. And tell the audience the dark secret that's like a hidden under.
Don't we think that Riley's a lesbian or bisexual? Because at some part they go into a vault and the deep dark secret is like, I'm not ready to come out yet. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like it's an
and
innuendo.
she like has a crush on the female hockey player she's playing with.
Yeah,
and the whole
so we don't
thing.
know. So I guess we'll have to wait for Inside Out 3.
But online they're saying that was the message they were trying to.
The director said that they would add in some LGBTQ characters or like some kind of identity.
And it was clearly, they were insinuating or dropping a little bit of a crumb.
A little breadcrumb.
That she was, in fact,
bisexual
or lesbian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which for a
Love
kids
it.
movie, they're really pushing, they're pushing the envelope, but only the adults would ever pick up on that.
Well, supposedly, maybe I'm not allowed to say this with Gabby's Dollhouse.
Then don't do it. Don't get yourself in trouble.
I'm not going to get myself in trouble with DreamWorks.
One more piece here. Jonathan Majors is back.
I don't know who that is.
Yes, you do.
Jonathan Majors?
Jonathan Majors, Star Wars, you name it. He got accused back in March of 23 by his ex-partner, Grace Jabari. And he was found guilty of third-degree assault and second-degree harassment for chasing her around New York City.
Jonathan, what's his name? Jonathan
Majors. Come on. Are you serious? It was
oh my God, we loved him. Yes.
We loved him as an actor, and then he got in trouble for harassing and assault.
Did he get found guilty?
He did get found guilty, but he did his thing. This was just last year. He did his thing, and now he's got his first leading role back in Hollywood, post-conviction.
And we can't even get you on a fucking show.
Hey.
No, just actually, we've got you on a lot of shows.
Listen, Hollywood is very forgiving to their very talented actors.
But not also as well. So it's really interesting.
He didn't have to do jail time or anything. I think it was like
he wasn't found guilty.
He was, but it was like his sentence was.
But was he found guilty by like the court, or did he say he was? You know how sometimes if they want to do less,
he was found guilty of third-degree assault and second-degree harassment.
But do you know how I just know this because my crime shows like you can say you're guilty because you either probably did worse or you don't want a worse sentence.
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can did he actually go to court?
Yes.
Sometimes you can do it before court.
Tabloids all over the world. I mean, it was huge news, huge news. He
God,
got dropped. He was supposed to play Dennis Rodman in the new big biopic of Dennis. He got dropped from all these projects. Of course, everyone fell in love with him in all the Star Wars movies.
Oh my God, he was so freaking good.
And he's in all the Creeds. The guy's very talented. He's a Juilliard graduate. Got in trouble. Did his time, righted his wrongs, whatever, and has now got his first offer again as a Hollywood celebrity in a revenge thriller, of all things.
A revenge thriller. What's it called?
Merciless.
Is it by studio or just independent?
It's the director of Dune's brother, Martin Villeneuve or whatever. But it's gonna be a big movie. I mean,
You think? Is it studio film or did you see this on Deadline?
I don't think there's any way it's a studio film. I think.
Oh, then I'm like, well.
But nothing is. Nothing is a studio film these days.
Yeah.
My thinking there is that a studio wouldn't want to put money into him yet. So they're going to independently finance this, get it sold because it's Jonathan Majors and we'll surround him with a great cast. And then he'll be back. And then the studios will call him again.
Very interesting.
That's just how it goes. That's how it goes. The Mavs are out. The Mavs are gone. Boston Celtics won NBA championship.
I love Boston though. Boston's like a great town.
You know, I'm sick of Boston. Not gonna lie.
Why are
Boston
you sick?
sports. They've been too good for too long.
But don't you think that? Yeah, but it's so classic.
It's classic.
It's
but
Boston.
I'm not from there, so I'm not gonna cheer them on. I'm just.
Isn't that back in the SNL? Wasn't that
jealous.
That famous skit, Boston?
I don't know. But
Do you know
what
I'm talking about? With the guy that played the Santa guy, the heavyweight guy. Oh my God.
They're the worst. I want nothing to do with them.
Oh, sorry. God.
No, I'm just bitter. I'm bitter because they made us look like trash. They made us look so bad. They blew
actually
us
did make us
out.
look horrible.
Blew us out. They gave us one win so then they can then go win at home.
You know what's so sad though is that happened with TCU. It's like we were phenomenal and then we went to the national championship, and if anybody remembers TCU at the national championship, that was just
it's sad.
That was just shot to our ego. And so it takes away actually how good they were. Like you did so good. That's what's so sad.
100%. And we have the runner up for MVP of the league, Luka Doncic. And he was amazing all season. But then failed in the finals when we needed him. In the clutch. He couldn't do it.
That's so. Wait, did you see that basketball player that said that thing about your Caitlin Clark? That there are other worthy components that should have been in the Olympics and not her?
Yeah, she didn't get in the Olympics.
I know, but some big NBA player said it.
Oh, yeah, they have huge beef. They've always had that beef.
Who is it?
I forget her name, but they went into the draft.
No, it's not a girl. It's a male.
Oh, I don't know.
Some big NBA player said something about it too.
Oh, I don't know.
I know.
But hopefully the Panthers will win the Stanley Cup. That's my last hope here.
What are the Panthers? Florida?
Florida Panthers. That's where I grew up. You know, that was my team all throughout
Who are they playing
my childhood.
against?
The Oilers.
Where are they from?
From Canada.
Oh, see, I'm sorry. No one will ever beat Canadians at hockey. That's just like,
well,
it's
the
a
Panthers
given.
were kicking their butt, and now they're coming back. They've won 2 games in a row, and I'm really scared.
Well, I really love Canada. Can we just please get on something in Canada so I can live there just for a hot minute?
That sounds so great.
Do you think Canada and like other places have PR and press like we have?
Yeah.
But is it ours, like from America?
No, they have their own outlets.
Yeah, you wonder if
They have their own news, their own newspapers, their own
I feel like
tabloids.
theirs isn't but minus I hear British tabloids are vicious.
Their tabloids are like, oh, burnt the toast today. It's not going to be a good day. Ours are like
that.
terrible. And, I think it's just simpler up there.
There's nothing happy in any of American press.
We're not going to end this episode on this note.
No, can we actually, okay, I want to know, what was your favorite memory, season 1?
Favorite memory of season 1? Probably the one that like just was a whirlwind, just felt so cool, like we were doing something special, was when we flew to New York to do our podcast.
Yeah.
And we did 3 back-to-back episodes in the same day.
And it was that was our second episode.
And
third, and fourth.
We're investing, money into this trip, into the studio space, into all this stuff. And we like went above and beyond, went to some of our favorite celebrities to interview in person because we wanted to feel intimate. We wanted to feel the energy, and you just can't replicate that on Zoom. And so going in there and doing that and knocking them out and then flying back that night, I felt like we were really doing something cool.
Oh my God. we were like, we crushed this.
Yeah.
I think that was so true. I think
taking on the road, that was fun.
Yeah. Claudia and Ben, I was so nervous because they're such professionals with this.
Oh, we were, that was crazy because we were literally, it was like me interviewing Steven
like LeBron
Spielberg
James,
on set.
Yeah.
We interviewed the podcasters of all podcasters.
And for them to do that with us, I really can never thank them enough. That was so cool. And we were so new. Like, I would love to do it now too, but having experience under our belt and know what we are as podcasters, but just so special and gave us such great insight.
Oh, and then when the mic stopped rolling, they're like, oh, you guys are going to be great. You guys are naturals at this. And gave us like, I'm like, Steven just told me that I did the best scene he's ever seen. He's seen every actor in the world.
I know.
Like, that's how it made me feel.
I remember you saying after, you were like, oh my gosh, Claudia, like, is one of the smartest people I've ever been around in my entire life.
So, and it's true. And so compliment from them, sincere one, meant the world.
I know.
So
and truly, and that's Jefferson. It was like being home again. But then doing Landon and Vanessa there, it was like all my nerves had gone away. Because they were our third of the day. They're our best friends in the world. It was just so cool.
It was. You'd be surprised how much energy and how draining doing an episode actually can be. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. It just seems so easy. We sit here and talk, but it's like,
but no, it actually, we never talk on Thursdays just because so we can have stuff to talk about Thursday.
And being on the spot for 1 hour, knowing that every single thing you say is going to be out there to the entire world
and be criticized.
Having to truly listen and respond for an hour is draining.
And to be vulnerable. To actually 100%. Like not edit ourselves, because I remember we've said this on the podcast before, flying back from New York, I was like, Eric, are we like going to do this? Are we really going to put ourselves out there like that?
Yeah.
And just knowing that maybe some of the stuff we say people won't like or they'll love.
Right.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
And so it was, and I'm so glad we did. I feel like I really have grown up. I mean, doing this. It really has helped me so much.
I want to know from the listeners or the viewers who you'd like to see in season 2, us interview. Throw out some names. Throw out, you want actors, you want musicians, you want writers, because now
I do want to do. I loved being with my girls, Taylor, Becca, and Katie. I think at least every season we have a Fort Worth influencer episode,
or just some badass entrepreneurs. I mean,
that's what I mean. Like Fort Worth, because we are based out of Fort Worth. I would love to always showcase Dallas-Fort Worth area. That I definitely think we always need an episode with some of our favorite people here.
I love that. Shine a light on the people that are really moving and shaking this city.
Yeah, because let me tell you, we are moving and shaking here in Fort Worth. Oh, come on.
So let us know. Let us know who you'd like to see or hear.
And like realistic, y'all.
Yeah, of course. But even still, like,
be nice. Like
getting this under our belt, season 1. Like I think we have a shot at getting some people we might have thought were unattainable before.
Yeah.
Last
so
time,
fun.
Give me your glamour, give me your grit, and then we're gonna see you in
August.
In August.
At least give us July off, and we're going to come back in with a bang in August. My glamour is actually, I'm going to do like a glamour as a whole, not just this week, is being with you every Thursday night or every like Wednesday night, being with you actually.
You mean recording this?
Recording this and talking and growing up. I really feel like we have grown up. And I really, 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 I know I keep like digging to the ground with this. This has taught me so much.
Grit?
And my grit has been just learning that we're going to have haters. I've kind of been, you're so used to it being in the industry that wasn't used to it. And that was my grit. It was just like, okay, here we go. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been amazing for me to learn. I've loved it. I'm grateful for it now.
Awesome. My glamour is this. I mean, it's the joy I've gotten from this. And, it's also the joy knowing how many people have tuned in and listened that now gives us an opportunity to do it again, because it has been really fun and just having the time, you and I, to get this creative outlet outside of everything else.
And we're not going to be a one-season podcast like everybody and their dog.
That's right.
Everybody does a season, but we are going to have season 2, baby.
And my grit is this nasty-ass Swedish candy you put in my mouth. I don't want to see it anymore. Get rid of this barf bag. Send it back to Sweden, my homeland. Love y'all in Sweden, but the candy is not doing it.
Wait, can we end it on a candy note, though?
For you?
Try this one.
Yeah. That's the same key I already had.
Oh, no, you had the brown one. Didn't you have the brown one?
It's going to be just as chewy and just as sugary.
No, I think this is Coca-Cola. And this Coca-Cola?
I can't. Not that one. Maybe a different one.
Try this one. This is like the famous, the Bub.
It's going to taste just...
Cheers.
Cheers.
I love you. Congratulations.
Hey, see you guys soon. Thanks for tuning along.
Glamour.
Grit.
Glamour.
Grit.